I'm going to start telling myself that I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to start telling myself that I'm going to graduate, I'm going to do all these things. And then they start really just working out.
Another thing that we rob our future selves from having is things that we can't envision ourselves having right now. And we do that because we limit what we'll know then to what we know now. And our entire experience that we have throughout our entire lifetime is one that goes through different chapters, different episodes.
You do deserve to be here. You do deserve all the things that you want to do, and you're capable of doing it. So now we're going to go out and do everything we're supposed to do that we can in this day. And if we don't get everything fit in, at least we can lay down and say, hey, I gave it all I could. Cheers.
Today's a great day.
Today's a great day.
That it is.
Episode 3. All right, guys. In this episode, we dive deep into the power of manifestation, how believing in yourself is only the first step, and speaking your goals out loud can propel you into the life that you truly want. Manifestation isn't just wishful thinking. It's an intentional practice that aligns with your mindset, energy, and actions to create real change. We explore how your words shape your reality, how speaking with purpose can open new doors, and why manifestation holds a powerful place in the journey of self-elevation and lasting happiness. Let's kick things off with the good news of the episode segment. This week's good news, we're going to focus on talking points of our personal favorites of manifestation, highlighting a large quantity of it. Mainly, 1, why manifestation works, 2, how to implement it, and 3, how are we using that in our everyday lives. One of my personal favorites is the story of Chris Gardner. Many of us have seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness, and it is actually based on a real story. Chris Gardner was an individual, was trying to work things out in the private business sector, unfortunately falling on hard times. He had a kid, and actually got into corporate America. Fast forward some years later, he was really successful at it, is a multimillionaire, is an author, and now has a movie with Will Smith and Jaden Smith covering his life story. One of the things that you watch in that movie, and one of the most powerful scenes, is when he's talking to Jaden, and he's like, don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. And he even highlighted the idea of like, don't even let me, your father, tell you you can't. And those types of things propel people in a way to where you're like, wow, I can actually do something. And when you hear that at a young age, or whenever you start to engage that, it kind of pushes you in a sense of saying, hey, I'm not going to allow anything to stop me. So whatever I dream, I know I can make happen. So yeah, this is a really important episode to me. I thoroughly believe in the power of manifestation. In my day-to-day life, I try to use it at least every day with affirmations or just, conversations. Is there any way in particular that you decide to use it?
Man, yeah, I think I'm very conscious of the power of words, right? The
Mhm.
words, when words are spells that you cast,
Yeah.
right? The things that you say are things that you're putting out there into the world, into the universe. And I'm a huge believer that, the way that I can harness the power of manifestation is by carefully choosing the words and the language that I use,
Mhm.
because those words and that language, they're going to be the thoughts that are in my head. They're going to be the seeds that I'm planting, the words that I'm saying out loud. These are literal forces of vibrational energy. And I have some really interesting things, in regards to manifestation that I love to cover today. Just examples of how words themselves have, and the energy behind them have this secret world that they live in that
Yeah.
we just have no idea about. So yeah, I mean, and also for me, visualizing isn't as big as it is for other people,
Mhm.
and there's a particular reason why. There's
Mhm.
this thing called aphantasia that humans have that, for me, when I close my eyes, I literally see pitch black. Like,
Oh.
there is no image whatsoever.
Yeah.
The only time that I ever have any kind of visualization is when I'm sleeping. And
Gotcha.
even then, whenever I wake up and I remember my dream, it's like whenever I see things like if I try to if I remember the places that I've been today, when I see them, it's just like this very blurry, fast image that crosses my mind. And I can't play a movie in my
Mhm.
head. You know what I mean? So for me, visualizing has never been something that is very, very powerful and very effective like it is for other people, which I strongly recommend for other people to
Absolutely. Yeah.
do. Use your imagination, visualize. But what I've learned through that experience, so this whole finding out about aphantasia thing was like, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because growing up, like the teacher would say, imagine something. And, when I'm imagining it, I'm thinking that everybody's imagining like this. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like I had no idea until I was 32 years old
Mhm.
that my brain is different than not everybody else's, because like 4% of the world's
Yeah, but a
population
good
has this.
chunk of the population.
Right. So when somebody says, imagine a green apple, I don't see a green apple.
Gotcha.
Like there's no, as much as I want to, there's no green apple. There's like a very, if I think about it for a second, it's just like green apple went by, but I'm not seeing it. I can't
Yeah.
see texture on it.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like the complete opposite of me, like, where, if you're saying a green apple, I'm looking at what is it sitting on? What is the background?
non-existent there.
So in those areas of manifestation, how has that either affected or helped you in
One
that sense?
100%. So at first when I first found out about that, like
Mm,
it was kind of heartbreaking, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? To realize that you're missing out on this whole
mm,
aspect of life that the majority of the world gets to experience. Like I feel like it would be really cool to be able to sit down and visualize myself, traveling somewhere or
mm,
doing something like that, and I physically cannot do it.
gotcha.
Like it's imagine a dark room with no lights, no doors, no windows. You
Mm,
walk in there, and that is what my brain is like, which is a big reason I think that I also, kind of, I don't, how I tell you, I don't watch movies, I
yeah,
don't watch
yeah,
TV
yeah,
shows. I watch sports,
mhm,
but that's about it. Like I've never been a big show person or a big movie person because I can't play it back in my head. So I watch a show, and unless I remember all the details as far as like words and things that
mhm,
happened, I don't remember what happened. Like I don't remember the sequence like that. If you if you say it to me out loud,
mhm.
I'll oh yeah, that part. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But like as far as like me being like going to a movie theater and looking up and saying and just like saving this into my brain, no.
wow.
You know what I mean? So what has that helped me as an individual do is I had to learn through that in order to be able to manifest things that you want, you're supposed to be able to have a sensory experience while you visualize these things, right? Something that, and you brought this up the last time we kind of talked about this a little
Mhm.
bit, was that you're able to visualize, like, when we're our trip to Switzerland that we're going to go on,
Absolutely, yeah.
what the grass feels like
Mhm,
and all of these other things. And that's what I've learned from this, is that okay, I can't see anything, but what does Switzerland smell like in my imagination? What does it feel like? What's the temperature like? How's that going to feel on my skin? What's it going to, how am I going to feel? How's my heart going to feel while
mhm,
I'm there? What am I hearing while I'm out there?
mhm,
And so I try to use all of my other senses to kind of make up for this, for the fact that I can't have that visual
mhm,
experience. And another beautiful thing that came from it was that I realized I have this, I guess in a way I turned it into a superpower in my own mind of like, I also don't have to live with the negative sides of that.
uh,
You know what I mean? Like I've seen people that are laying in front of me lifeless. I've seen horrific things in my life,
yeah,
and I don't really remember them. So I don't
absolutely.
live with that side of it.
And that's a good area right there, because the glass being half full, that perspective right there is where most people with manifestation or issues with dealing with manifestation or how to actually make it come up is, for lack of a better term, I've always seen you as a visionary, which is odd, with what we're discussing right now, but in the sense of you work with what you got and you maximize that potential.
Hmm.
Where most people are like, well, I can't see that. So what's the point of
Right.
manifestation? Everyone's usually looking for some type of excuse where they're like, well, if I can't see this or I can't do this, and they use as a reason to kind of stay stagnant. Whereas, you may not have thought you were different, but once you realize there was a difference in how most people see the world, you still use that to your advantage and still push forward to adjust. With that, I mean, I think that is a very powerful talking point in this area, because most people, when they're seeing manifestation, meditation, and all these different areas to implement in their life, they don't see a comfortable way to start it because they may see it from a different lens than the
Hmm.
average person.
Absolutely.
So with you doing that, and like, where you are now, how do you use it almost as like almost an advantage or like a superpower in that sense?
I mean, again, I mean, it's still, I'm not gonna lie, like it's still, I still do. I'm like, man, I wish I could see some of these things or
Absolutely, yeah.
whatnot, but I just don't let it bother me anymore. And again, I try to, when I meditate, whenever I think about things, whenever I'm manifesting things, I try to go about it in a way that it makes sense to me, right? So what's one thing that makes a lot of sense to me is that I think that because of the way that my brain works, I love information, and I love textual information.
Mhm.
I love information that I can read or I can digest in a way where I can store those words and have
Mhm.
the meaning behind it, have the story, have the whole everything behind it. I love to store that information. So now I double down on that. I tell you all the time. I'm always reading or listening to a
Mhm.
book or something like that. I literally double down on that. Like, okay, this is how my this is, a way that my brain works, and this is how I'm good. So I do that, but as far as for people, for being able to start manifesting, there's no way that you can start manifesting
Mhm.
is the way that I look at that,
Yeah.
because you already have started.
Absolutely.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? You've been doing it your entire
Yeah.
life. So there's no starting now. It's a matter of adjusting it to the way that you want it to be,
Mhm.
right? So back to words. Words are incredibly powerful. The things that we think, the things that we say, they carry energy. Do you in its root, the word human means means light, and
Mhm.
man means being, and we're beings of light, and
Mhm.
light is energy, and everything in the universe is affected. Everything in the universe is energy. Everything, right? We can go into quantum physics and all of these different aspects, and we find that at the very smallest scale, everything is either energy or potential energy.
Mhm.
And actually, in quantum physics, through the double slit experiment, they were able to find out that particles are either wave or they're particle. And the way that they go from collapsing from being a wave to being a particle is by being observed. The observer effect came from that. And essentially, quantum physics is saying that reality doesn't collapse until it's observed. Until it's observed and experienced, it's always just possibilities. So the universe is filled with infinite possibilities.
Mhm.
Our lives are filled with infinite possibilities,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
There's so many different things that can happen, and so we have been taught to believe that so many things are out of our control, that it's either in the control of fate or in the control of God or whatever it may be. And to an extent, yes, absolutely, not limiting the power of God whatsoever,
No,
right?
no.
But we have the endless opportunities at every single moment of the day to be able to be the person that starts to create the way that our present
Mhm.
is shaped. And that's how we're able to change what the future looks like, is by changing the present. So if you want to, quote unquote, begin manifesting the way that you want to manifest, then create as close as possible the version of the future that you would like to experience. Create that in the present moment, and by creating that in the present moment, you start to align with that potential future that's down the road. And if you're already, let's say you're not doing anything to make your future better, well, what you're doing is just creating
Mhm.
that same future. You
Gotcha.
know what I mean? If today I decide I'm going to be lazy, I'm not going to do anything about my problems, I'm just going to let my day pass by, blah, 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 blah. Well, all you're doing is creating a future that looks as similar to today as
Mhm.
today is.
Yeah.
But if you want to become this person that, is a successful business owner, or is a successful artist, or is someone that has a loving family or has a great marriage, or whatever those things look like, you have to do them today
Gotcha.
in order to put them into your future. It is only through the present moment that you can shape your future.
Absolutely. So that's one of the things that I've noticed just in personal experience is that I had the days where, like, for example, I'll make an excuse, like,
Mhm.
this is why I'm not going to do this today. And then I almost feel at the end of the day, a sense of emptiness of like, wow, like, I think I just let a whole day go by.
Yeah.
And then I wake up with days where it's like, hey, I'm going to start working on this with the intention on this moving forward in the future. And it's those small steps that really build everything up in a sense where if I didn't start planning this 3 years ago, who's to say where it would be or how rushed it may felt where everything wasn't in the place that it needed to be. And I tell people all the time, we're like, me and my sister are working on this project together. We're like, hey, we're going to start this venture here. I want you to start yours at the same time that I start mine, and we have to stay consistent because at some point we're going to look forward in the future, and I don't want us to feel like we're incomplete because we didn't take the time. So, just talking to each other each day, being like, hey, we're going to do this. I think we talked about this before, either in a private conversation or in a previous episode, where we remove the subject of ifs or this would be nice. We just don't talk in, hypotheticals.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is very much like, and we'll catch ourselves, we're talking. It's like, yeah, this is great. So, if I make it to Switzerland, and she'll stop me. I'm like, no, when you make it,
Yep.
you know. So these types of things are ways that shows you, it makes you feel stronger about these things. And once you start talking in those areas, you start to realize it opens up a whole window or a whole world of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know a million different ways to get what I want because I've talked about it in such a positive light that
100%.
it just gives you all these opportunities. Now, when I talk about it of like, hey, I'm going to put it off or talk about it in the hypothetical perspective, then it starts to limit my field of view of what's possible. Now I'm looking at them almost the hardest way to get there, and then it makes it seem like the odds are insurmountable.
Yep.
So I just don't want to try.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's
Absolutely.
definitely one of those things where like I've learned now, like man, like those words mean everything.
Yep.
A if or a when or I'm going to or I would like to, those will change everything of how you decide to wake up the next morning and get things done.
Yep. If you're the kind of person that loves to hear just good vibes every single day, then I recommend you subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you doing? You know what I mean? Like you're already here.
Just hit that little button,
Just
guys.
hit the button. Hit the button, hit the bell. I'm new to this, so like I'm trying to figure it out. Hit the button, hit the bell, jump in the comments. We're gonna be here anyway, so why not?
Hit the little bell for notifications.
Bing
So you'll get
bang.
notified every single time a new video comes out.
Today's a great day.
Today's a great day to subscribe to Today's a Great Day.
Thank you guys.
Let's get back to the action. If you're enjoying this episode, then you should send it to a friend that you feel like could really benefit from hearing this message here today.
Absolutely. I mean, like we send it to our friends, they send it to their friends, they send it to their friends' friends. Next thing you know, everybody's watching Today's a Great Day and having a great day.
Everybody. So if the friend sends it to the friend and the friend sends it to the friend, then does that mean that by the time the friend sends it to the friend, I'm going to be the friend?
It might come back to us. It might come back to us.
Let's try it, guys. Send it to a friend. We'll see if it ends up back to us. Now let's get back to the action.
Let's get back to it.
When you say to yourself that I am going to do something in the future, or I'm going to have something in the future, or whatever it may be, you're disconnecting yourself from that reality and you're putting that reality somewhere in the future that will only be able to be experienced through the present time, right? And you're also, one thing that we are so good at is we procrastinate and we leave things for last minute and blah blah blah. Like I'm guilty of it. We all are.
Yeah.
And one thing that we don't realize, and one thing that changed my perspective on procrastinating, which and I want to say really quick, manifestation, like even for us guys doing this podcast right now, this is strictly manifestation.
Absolutely.
Like this is like we've been wanting to do this. Here we are doing it. It's not perfect, we still, there's all these things that we could have done, before we even started filming, but we just said screw it, let's start filming and we'll figure the rest out later.
Yes,
but one thing that we do whenever we procrastinate or whenever we put things off that we know that we should do that would make our lives better, that could be cleaning your room, it could be doing whatever it may be, what we do is we put the burden that we're feeling now on our future selves.
Yeah.
And the more that we do that, the more that we let ourselves down. And the more that we let ourselves down, the more that we don't trust ourselves. And the less that we trust ourselves, the more that we have internal problems.
Mhm.
One of the easiest fixes for people to be able to have successful days nowadays is simply just do what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
Like, what you're supposed to do, right? I know what I'm supposed to do today. And if you don't know what you're supposed to do, then figure out what it is that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, take some time.
Take some time to figure it out. But if you want to have just better days by noon, if you work an 8-hour job and you don't have to be there, like for me, I'm gonna work 8 hours a day or whatever. And I try to be done with everything as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
And then I liberate myself.
Mhm.
I can't remember what the name of the theory is, or a study or something like that says that if you, the amount of time that you give yourself to do something is the amount of time that it will take you to do it. Right. So if you say that, okay, it's going to take us today 4 hours to film this podcast and blah 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 blah, then it would take us 4 hours to do this. But if we say to ourselves, hey, once everything's set up, we've got 90 minutes to get this done from front to back, then it's going to take us 90 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're very good as human beings at trying to give ourselves as big of a cushion as we can to
Yeah.
do things, and then we all almost always ultimately end up doing it right at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what? I got 3 hours. I'll get it done. You know,
And
it's
then
just
we put that burden on ourselves,
yes.
and we put ourselves in a situation where now we have to do this rushed. Now, one thing that does come from this study is that usually at that time you are at your peak performance because now
Mhm.
your back is against the wall. So
Yeah.
there is something good that
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah.
But put your back against the wall at the beginning. Tell yourself, hey, I got 3 hours now to finish this
Yes.
and just get it done. And then you start to relieve yourself of all of these other things. And it opens your mind up for the ability to be able to think about the things that you do
Mhm.
desire and not the things that are holding you down. Opening up your brain to be able to imagine these things, feel these things, think about these things, opening up those brain that capability inside of your
Yeah.
mind is so key.
And it is. And I think one of the things that people aren't really looking into is the fact that it's very simple. The hard things that you're avoiding is what the quote was is the success you're looking for is in the hard work you're avoiding.
100%.
So there is nothing that you're going to do as far as giving your effort that you're not going to gain some type of reward from.
Hmm.
And with that, we just have to look at it and say, hey, I know this sucks. You know, I could get this done tomorrow. I could get it done next week, or I could just get it done today. And then I have a week of no worries, you know? And then that way you say, hey, if I get this done, I'm going to have a great week because it's not done. You don't even realize that you just manifested a entire week of good news.
Man.
You know, because if you wait for it, like you say, I'll do it at the end of the week. Now you have a week of looming issues of, hey, what is my future self going to be busy about? What am I going to be tied down with? And I still have to get
And the
this done.
burden just carries on.
Yes. And it's those small points in the day where you're like, oh, wow, if I do this now, it'll make it easier. And
Hmm.
then you apply that to every aspect of your life, you're good. You know, there's nothing, it's such a good formula. You can apply it to anything from
Yep.
sports, school, work, you know, just any aspect. You can apply that and you can just push it forward, which is amazing.
100%.
So
I agree. I agree. So yeah, man. When it comes to manifesting, again, I think that words are incredibly powerful. And
mm,
there is, I watched this documentary not too long ago. It's on this platform called Gaia. The Gaia is pretty cool. They've got some cool channels. They got some kooky stuff, but they've got some
yeah,
cool,
yeah, yeah.
stuff on there. But it was a documentary on water and how water retains information. So it is a scientific fact that water can retain information. How? It's very complex. I don't remember all of the
Yeah.
exact, but essentially lit water literally can withhold vibrational energy. So in this documentary, they went to like it was Venezuela or Colombia, to this place that's like the most virgin water in the world,
Mhm.
and they got this water. They were and then they go to like places like France and they get water that's going through water treatment plants and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like in these big cities, man, I didn't know that till I watched this documentary. But in big cities, like all of our sewage water and all of that
Mhm.
stuff, it gets recycled, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
crazy. Yeah,
gross.
it's crazy.
Is
You don't want to think too much about
right,
it. Yeah.
right, right. Am I drinking toilet paper? Like, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? But anyway, so couple of cool things happened in this documentary. One of them was that they were showing how you fun fact, actually, now that I think about it, apparently there are more combinations for the way a snowflake can turn out than there are atoms in the entire universe.
I've seen something like that.
That's
Yeah.
insane. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, how, what? But
Yeah.
anyway, so they take the water from this very like virgin like river in
Mhm.
Colombia or Venezuela, something like that. They take the water from France where it's in like sewage or whatnot, gets recycled, even though it's like potable water, it's
Yeah.
clean water. Um, and then they take water from like water bottles
Mhm.
and they freeze them. And what you start to see is whenever water has been able to make its way through natural processes throughout the ecosystem, like going down rivers or coming up from springs and things like that, and this water has been able to just work its way through minerals, work its way through just nature. When it freezes, it makes these beautiful snowflakes, very coherent. They're always hexagonal. They
Mhm.
have six sides, just very beautiful. They look like these little fractals. I mean, they look
Mhm.
just beautiful. And then you take the water that has been through, and the example that he gave was the water that's in the woods is traveling through lake rivers and stuff like that. It's going through nature. This is the harmonic balance. It's going through minerals, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then the water that's in the city, it's going through pipes.
Mm.
It's contained. It's in darkness. It's
Mm.
going through, it's going through bad places and
Yeah.
things like that. And the vibrational frequencies that it's picking up in its way, no matter how much you clean the water, the vibrational frequencies do not allow it to become a natural, beautiful looking snowflake. And I'll show you. And guys, if you want to look this up, it's on Gaia. It's about water, how water. I can't remember the name of it, but you can find all
When
this
we find it, we'll
information.
link it for you
Yeah,
guys.
you can find all this information. It turns into these ugly snowflakes. Like
Mm.
they're barely hexagonal. If they are, there's no, like when you think of a snowflake, you think of this beautiful,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? There's none of that.
Mm.
None of that. And then the other experiment that they did, it was this guy from Japan, very famous experiment,
Mhm.
was he took water and he put them in mason jars. Actually, I think he even did it with rice. He put rice in there. 3 different containers of water
Mm.
with rice in them in mason jars.
Mm.
One of the containers, he spoke words with good energy behind them. And by the way, words are powerful, but the energy behind them is
Yeah.
even more powerful. Um, so I love you. You're beautiful. You're great. You're
Mm.
amazing. Then another one, he talked words of, negative words.
Mm.
I hate you. I'm upset with you. You're
Mm.
awful. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the control. He left it alone. Didn't
Mm.
do anything. Which one of those 3 would you say the water probably had a negative effect?
I'm gonna say the one that he spoke negative into.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So the one that he spoke positive to,
Hmm.
the water, it stayed like it should. The rice started to ferment,
Mm.
and that's the natural process.
Yeah,
That's what
natural process.
happens, right? But the one he didn't say anything to, that was ignored and was just left alone in a corner,
Mm.
that one was the one with the most negative effect.
Really?
The water on that one started to actually turn black.
Wow.
And then the one that he spoke negatively to, it also had an adverse effect as well, but it wasn't as bad as the one that was ignored.
Mm.
Sometimes the things that we ignore, the people we ignore, the way that we're ignored has an even worse effect than negative energy does.
Gotcha.
But I say all of that whole story to say the intention behind what you say and the things that you do carry such an immense impact. We are beings of light. That's what humans are. This entire universe runs on energy,
Mm.
and we are a part of that. Our magnetic field from our heart
Mm.
extends a few feet outside of our body.
Gotcha.
From the brain, it's just 2 inches
Yeah.
from the brain. When people say he's good energy,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not always that, yo, he's dope, he's hype,
Yeah.
blah,
You're
blah,
just
blah.
smiling all the time. Yeah.
It's genuine
Mm.
good energy. When someone says, I don't know, I don't like his energy, it's genuine.
Yeah.
It's genuine. People are feeling
Mm.
your energy when they walk into the room,
Gotcha.
so yeah, man.
No, and that's amazing because I think if you use that story for example just in day to day lives, like you can see just how energy works amongst each other. So let's, for example, imagine that we're water, you know, and we get out of, we get out of, the natural way that we're supposed to take care of ourselves. We know we're supposed to love ourselves. We know we're
Mhm.
supposed to do right by ourselves and do all the things that we're supposed to do. And yet we go through this weird man-made mechanism of how we're going to cope. And sometimes we want to just be upset. Sometimes we just don't want to have a good day. And, that can have those adverse effects. But it's so natural once you're able to be around the right people or, create it for yourself where you're like, hey, I'm going to start telling myself that I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to
Yep.
start telling myself that I'm going to graduate, that I'm going to do all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start really just working
It
out.
start happening.
So I think Bruce Lee had the quote, be like water. I
Yeah.
think in this case, you really should be like water.
Be like water.
Just let it happen because it's so simple. And I think a lot of things that we run away from are the things that we are actually needing in a
Absolutely.
sense. So along with that, I think just if some people can't find it for themselves, it's sometimes easier to find it through outside sources. So personally, I love music. It's something since I was a kid, something about the way that music reaches the soul really, really makes you feel great. And with that, I was always leery of certain songs or certain genres that I wouldn't listen to for too much because they all have, between.
Frequencies.
Yeah. So my mom would always play a lot of like soul music,
Mhm.
like Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke. And then as I got older, a little bit older, I started learning about like Bob Marley, started learning about, just these great bands, from, all around the world, just beautiful, beautiful music. And I noticed that as I started to implement those into my day, then I started to have better days. Now, if I did listen to the negative stuff, like, some of the hardcore rap, some of like the angry, like rock music, if I wasn't in the gym, I started feeling my energy shifting. And I didn't feel as, invincible or as high energy as I normally do. So in my day-to-day life, I do have like a certain playlist where I have a success playlist
Mm,
where like in my head is that when I make it, there was a TikTok where this guy was like, what is your I made it song?
okay.
Like, let's say this is a movie and, you just hit whatever you were trying to do. You accomplished that goal. If this was a soundtrack, what song is playing? And I was like, wow. And then you go through the comments and it's all these great songs by people,
Mm,
and everyone's like, oh, this is my song. Oh, it's Good Life or Redemption Song by Bob Marley, like all of these different options. And I noticed that when I have those in there, it makes it easier for me to go out and say, hey, I'm going to get to that.
yep. I
You
love
know,
that.
so, like, with me, I think that's where music, like, helps me out with my manifestation because I wanna get to a point where that makes sense, Like, when we go, on vacation, there's a lot of tropical music, a lot of happy sounding songs. I wanna be able to get to that point. I can't get to that point if I'm thinking negatively.
Mm,
I can't get to that point if I'm around negative energy.
right.
So, I gotta get around people that make me feel like I'm on vacation. I got to
100%.
get myself to where I feel like I'm happy with myself every day, finding things to smile about and do these things. So that's one of the areas that I really like using is music. For you guys, is there anything that you guys normally do? Is there a song? Is there a movie? Is there a TV show that just puts you in a good vibe to make you want to do great? Put those in the comments and let us know because I'd love to hear them. So that way maybe I can implement some of those to my thing.
What's your
Or
song, by the way?
there's a few. There's a
Mm,
few. So, one of my favorites is Three Little Birds by Bob Marley. Simple song, you know what I mean? Just very happy. Um, there is a song, it's called Feeling Like Dennis by Big X the Plug. Now it is
okay.
it is it is a hard song, but there's a part in there where he quotes or where he says, "It took losses to feel all this winning." And I'm like, wow. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's trying to avoid looking stupid or falling on their face. And, he's telling you, like, hey, you got to get through it to get there.
Yeah.
So it's those songs. I did really like the song Good Life by Kanye and T-Pain. And I don't listen to
I'ma
it as
get
much.
on MTV, mama.
It's
I'm
a
a
beautiful song, right? But the reason why I don't listen to it is that and when we took the trip to New Orleans, right? We had a great time, but we got on the airplane. I was like, I'm listening to Good Life. I'm living a good life right now. We're gonna have a good time. So my wife always books the ticket, so she books the window seat, and then typically we'll try to get the middle seat, or I'll send the middle seat. So we have the aisle to ourselves, hopefully. And this guy, he just comes in, he just like plops down, and he just smells like a bar. And I'm like,
Ooh.
oh man, this is gonna be annoying. He's like, all spread out and stuff. I'm just like, dude, I'm a big guy. Why did you pick it? It's like half empty.
Uh,
So
he had him in New Orleans. Like, what's the drinks that they have there? What do they call those?
hurricanes.
No, but there was a hurricane. But there's another one. It comes in like a green.
Oh,
Dang,
I
let
know
us
exactly.
know in the comments,
Yeah, yeah.
guys.
You're from. So this is us going to New Orleans. So we're still in St. Louis, but
Oh,
mind you, it's like 7 o'clock.
what do you like? Go to the Anheuser Busch plant or
Yes,
something?
yes. So he had been at the airport. We left at like 6 o'clock at night. He
Okay.
had been at the airport since like 11 a.m.
Uh.
and he had just been drinking and
Oh,
all
so
day.
he was airport drunk.
Yes.
Wow.
So then he's just like, just sitting there, he's just breathing heavy. I'm like, all right, let me just put my headphones on. I got Kanye, blasting my ears like it's a good life, good life. I'm like, all right, great. And the next thing I know, I feel him like kind of like jerk up.
Mm.
And I'm like, and we're just now getting in the air, mind you. Like, not like, hey, take your seatbelts off. And so I'm like, why did he jerk? Like, that was almost like something's wrong. And so, like, I kind of like like fix my headphone a little bit to see if I can hear him if he's like, oh, like, whatever. But then I just hear, oh, and I'm like,
Mm.
no.
Welcome to the good life.
And then, like, yeah, like T-Pain is just serenading in the background. I like just like tap my wife and like, hey, hey, and he just like, and then just projectiles
No.
all over. I mean, it got bad to the point where it came out of both ends. So he crapped himself at the same time he was sitting there. It was just, mind you, in good life is slapping. It's slapping. And now every time I hear that song, like either if I'm listening to it by myself, I'll laugh to myself, or me and my wife are driving, it comes on, we both look at each other, I'm like, yeah, you remember New Orleans? So yeah, that's one of the songs. Really, I think that entire album was that. I think that was the graduation album. I think is one. That's a good album for like good
Old
vibes.
Kanye is great Kanye.
Old Kanye's great Kanye.
But yeah, man, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Do you know what percentage of your body's made up of water?
I'm gonna throw a number out there because I feel like I've heard it before. I'm gonna say 70%.
Boom.
Okay, cool,
70% of our body is made up of water.
perfect.
And our universe that we live in is a vibrational universe.
Mhm.
And water picks up vibrational energy and it stores information as well. And the majority of our body is water. The way that when people are around you, the things that are around you, the things that you're seeing, the experiences that you're having, they are literally being soaked up by your body. And I'm not talking about like pseudoscience here. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like I'm not like conspiracy theory or nothing. Like, no, this is like real stuff. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So you got to be very mindful, very, very careful of guarding your energy, building up your energy, protecting your energy. If people are bringing you down and you can't bring them up to your level and they're not
Mhm.
willing to come up to your level, then it is time to cut them off.
Mhm.
If people are bringing you up and they're elevating you, then how can you give that back to them and be and work in tandem, work together to be
Mhm.
able to help each other and lift each other up? That's part of our journey in life. You know, we become, we become until the last day of our lives, we have worked our way from being an infant to becoming the person that we were that
Mhm.
day. And our entire experience that we have throughout our entire lifetime is one that goes through different chapters, different episodes, different parts of our lives. I
Absolutely.
think I said it on the first episode. They say cats have 9 lives, and I think we have more than that. I think
Mhm.
we have a ton of lives that we live, and
Right.
those lifetimes that we live within this life come about through manifestation, whether
Mhm.
we want to think of it or whether we want to believe it or not.
Mhm.
Again, the manifestation is on from the get-go. It is always happening. We get shaped by society, we get shaped by our upbringing, we get shaped to think within this box, and we tell and our imagination gets shrunk down.
Mhm.
Kids are so excited to do things.
Yes,
In the Bible, it says that we should have childlike wonder. Children see no boundaries.
they don't.
They go and they do and they experience, because children are not concerned with the future. They're not worried about, getting a promotion
No, not at all. They're
down the
just yeah.
road. They're not worried about groceries. They're not worried about any of these things, right? They're just simply living.
Mhm.
They're experiencing. They're here in the now. As they start to grow up, as we start to grow up,
Mhm.
our imagination starts to get shrunk
Mhm.
down. Our energy outbursts start to get controlled. We get
Mhm.
we start to get told, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. So now we go from thinking that we can conquer the world to now we live in this very, very tiny box. And in living in that very tiny box, a lot of us are unable to see outside of it.
Gotcha.
And when we're unable to see outside of it, we can't manifest things that are any different than the current situation that
Mhm.
we have, because we can't see ourselves in a place that is outside of that bubble that or that box that we're living in. And what we do when we don't look outside of the box of the that we're living in is that we rob our future selves of being able to experience things that will come through the natural progression of us being able to grow outside of that box, right? So right now, you and I can't say that we know how we would behave whenever we have 100,000 subscribers on this channel,
Yeah,
right? But we can envision that and we can imagine that and we can
absolutely.
allow ourselves the opportunity to be able to get to that point.
Mhm.
I don't know how we'll be managing posting videos and blah, 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 all
Yeah.
this other stuff when we get to that point. But I know that we will get to that point because we are embodying the type of people that we need to be. Not saying that today we're a podcast that deserves 100,000 subscribers today. We got to earn that, and we're going to earn that. But today we're behaving like people that do have that. And then another thing that we rob our future selves from having is things that we can't envision ourselves having right now. And we do that because we limit what we'll know then to what we know now.
Gotcha.
The amount of information that I have now, the things that I know now, the experiences that I've been through now, the random opportunities, synchronicities, coincidences, luck that I've experienced up to this point will not be equal to what I will have 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I should be smarter by then. I should be, wiser by then. I should, have, more, be able to be at a higher level than I am now. And I can't say that that person is incapable of doing the things that that person has learned that I don't know right now. My level of knowledge today is not what I will have in the future. If you're enjoying this episode, then you should send it to a friend that you feel like could really benefit from hearing this message here today.
Absolutely. I mean, like, we send it to our friends, they send it to their friends, they send it to their friends' friends. Next thing you know, everybody's watching Today's a Great Day and having a great day.
Everybody. So if the friend sends it to the friend and the friend sends it to the friend, then does that mean that by the time the friend sends it to the friend, I'm going to be the friend?
It might come back to us. It might come back to us.
Let's try it, guys. Send it to a friend. We'll see if it ends up back to us. Now let's get back to the action.
Let's get back to it.
And so that leads to, when you manifest, one of the biggest problems that we have is how? How do we get there?
Absolutely.
Don't concern yourself with the how.
Mhm.
The how, here's where people get so lost.
Mhm.
All right, we want 100,000 subscribers on this channel. We want 1 million subscribers. We want 10 million subscribers on this channel, right? How are we going to get there? And we can talk about it day and night, bro. We could talk about it day and night, and we've never even talked about it.
Yeah.
How are we going to get there? Doing this.
Yeah. I was like, enjoying the process.
Enjoying this. Yes. That's it. What's going to happen whenever we have to do this and we have to do that? Like, whatever. Yeah. We'll do it.
Yeah. At some point there'll be assistance and there'll be, light, but at this point, hey, let's not worry about that. Let's have a great time, falling in love with that process.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is very true. Absolutely true. And one of the things that I feel like, people may have, for example, for this podcast, the biggest question is, well, I want to manifest. I want to have the mindset that I see others have and that I'm getting from this episode. Can you give them some personal experience of how you were able to elevate yourself and sometimes even removing yourself from certain situations and how that process not only affected your normal day to day and how is that, treating you well and serving you well in this day and age?
100%. I'm going to give you something really quick for you to read out loud. This is literally, this is going to be so simple. But this helps me just kick off the day right every single day.
Gotcha. All right. 3 questions. How do I feel right now? How do I look forward to today? Or what do I look forward to today? What will make today a successful day?
So every morning I tee myself up with the opportunity to even think about what am I hoping to accomplish today? Right? So how do I feel right now? And these aren't complex answers. I start off my morning and I might, like this morning, I stayed up late working on our stuff last night. This morning I woke up and I had to be up early, blah, blah, blah. How do I feel right now? Kind of feel groggy, not gonna lie. Like I'm gonna need to really, really on this drive that I'm about to go on, I'm gonna really need to kind of pep myself up and things like that. What do I look forward to today? I look forward to recording the podcast later on today.
Absolutely.
I look forward to the fact that we have a closing today, my sister and I.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing my family at the end of a hard day. You know what I mean? I had a lot of stuff we had to do today. And what will make today a successful day? Being able to end the day. And this one is one of them that to me is kind of like an almost everyday answer. But being able to end the day knowing that I lived my best today.
Absolutely.
Simple as that. So I'm able to tee myself up to now be in the right mindset. You know what I mean? When I wake up, I look at my phone to see if there's an emergency. That's it. If there's not, put the phone back down. All right. I brush my teeth. I go and meditate. I ask myself these questions. I like to journal sometimes. I don't journal all the time, but I like to journal sometimes. And I have a statement, and I'll read like just a couple of pieces of that statement, but this is something that I read to myself every single day. And I think I'll probably talk a lot about this statement because I can't tell you how important in my life it has been to have a personal statement about who is that person that I desire to be. Because in this statement, I have created a guideline
Mhm.
for who I desire to be and how I need to behave to be that person. And in that statement, I tell it literally starts off with, I am living the life I once imagined. I am aligned, abundant, clear, and at peace. Every day I wake up knowing exactly who I am and what I'm here to do. I lead with love. I walk with purpose. I speak with confidence because I am rooted in truth. And it goes on for a little bit longer or whatnot. Talk about work. I talk about family. I talk about, the things that I want to do in this lifetime. I want to be a life coach. And ironically enough, here we are. I didn't know how that was going to happen. And I talked about this in a previous episode. I didn't know how being a life coach would happen, but I think that it can happen through this avenue, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe it could happen through real estate. Who
Yeah.
knows? You know, but being able to tee yourself up mentally
Mhm.
to actually think about who it is that you want to be is so important. Stop guessing what your future is going to look like and
Mhm.
create it.
Yeah.
It's going to come and it's going to be hard. Either way, choose your hard. Do
Yes.
you want to keep living the same life that you're not happy with and keep living a hard life,
Mhm.
or which, by the way, that requires to just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It might not require for you to do hard things. It might require for you to do
Yeah.
nothing,
Just
but life is hard.
life is very hard.
Or do you choose to do the hard things that you know that you should do to
Mhm.
then make life easy?
Yeah.
There won't be a day that you get $1 million in the bank or $2 million in the bank and you're like, all right, man, I've made it. Life
Yeah.
is good. I have no more
Mhm.
problems. Matter of fact, those people that retire with that kind of money usually get bored and go back to doing something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that day is not
Mhm.
necessarily like magically going to come.
Yeah.
But if you can create a way for you to be able to enjoy every single day and work yourself up to a point where those days that do come by are easier,
Mhm.
then you do your future self such a favor and you remove the burden that you feel today from that person. How about you?
So that actually is a very valid point. So one of the things that we did start doing, me and my spouse earlier this year, we did start journaling. So, we just got up one day, said, hey, we're gonna go to Walmart, we're gonna pick up some journals, and we're just gonna start. And what we did was we journaled every single day, and every Friday we would come back and we would share with one another. And, there's no real, rhyme or reason on how we were gonna get it done, or
Mhm.
there was no format on how to do it. But I did realize that and this actually goes back to the whole point of the I made it aspect, is I had a really big fear of feeling like I deserve something, right? I think that that's kind of almost like, you feeling like you're entitled. And, my wife was explaining to me, she's like, hey, like, there's nothing wrong with saying that you deserve something because you work for it. And I've always tried to work from an area of humility. And it took me a while to battle with that, of saying, like, hey, I need to say that I deserve this because I am going to work. I have worked for it. And with that journaling, I would start it off every day. I would do the date, go into how I'm feeling, and then immediately go into what my goals are. And, it was just be like, hey, I want to get my kids, to school before, or get my kids down to Florida before they start school. I want us to have a nice, comfortable house. I want us to be happy. And that's not necessarily a financial aspect. That's not necessarily just like a social aspect. I want us to be happy internally. And I deserve that. And with that, one of my songs I listen to a lot now is "Man at the Garden" by Kendrick Lamar. And just one of those things where the song is great, but it's not necessarily a song that you're gonna play for, like, clubs. Something that you'll listen to by yourself while you're meditating. And one of the things that he constantly repeats in the song is, I deserve it all. I deserve it all. I deserve it all. But it's also balanced with the aspect of, I've done this work. I'm doing these things that I need to do.
Mhm.
I'm raising, my kids. I'm working hard. I'm investing. I'm putting myself in these areas. And even to the sense where there's a part where he says that he prays for those who prayed against him because he knows that he's here for a purpose. He says, I pray for those who prayed against me. Every reason why my ancestors sent me, I deserve it all. And I think about that, is that if everything has a purpose and everything is moving the way it's supposed to be moving, there's a reason why we all think this way. We all feel like we deserve better and we want to work. We're just trying to figure out how to get to those areas. So I started implementing that every day is that I would journal. At the end of that journal, I deserve it all. And then I would go out and implement it. So if I'm working, at my normal 9 to 5 at the time, I'm trying to figure out how to start the business or how to work the business to where, hey, this can start being our main source of income. We can start freeing up more time. And I just started working in those areas. In the areas that, that I needed to work in, like i.e. the job that was actually paying the bills at the time, handling people that I had to just work with or deal with, dealing with them on a, rational level, until I'm able to move past that, I would do those things, but also I would give myself that extra time. So I would clock into my 9 to 5, and after that, go immediately into my 5 to 9 and just start working and working. And now that I'm actually living within those blessings that I asked for, now it's the time to one, be grateful, and then to see how further more can I push it. Because in my head, God got me here this early for a reason. So I can start working harder and showing people that things are more doable. So now it's more so my daily routine is getting up, give myself some time to kind of relax before the house gets up, and then really putting myself in that perspective. You do deserve to be here. You do deserve all the things that you want to do, and you're capable of doing it. So now we're going to go out and do everything we're supposed to do that we can in this day. And if we don't get everything fit in, at least we can lay down and say, hey, I gave it all I could. So
Absolutely. And what do you feel held you back from feeling like you deserve things?
really just, sometimes I think it's more of a self conscious thing. I saw people that, I felt like may have been more qualified, or, I felt like I've been passed up on too many opportunities and I didn't know really how to handle those situations. So I, just kind of settled, in some areas like, well, I got this. This is okay. And a lot of people that I, were coming up around, my first job, I worked at a hospital, like, hey, stay here. And that's kind of, it's a weird, weird area that we do is that they don't mean any harm, but they're telling you to settle. And then so you just start
And that's the exact reason why I asked that
yeah.
question. Like, why why did you feel like you didn't deserve it? And it's usually it's subconsciously embedded in our
Mhm.
minds. And I agree with
Yeah.
that. Like I felt the same exact way. Like
Mhm.
we find ways to sabotage right when we're about to be successful
Yeah,
because we feel like
absolutely.
we shouldn't be in
Mhm.
this situation. So so journaling, is that what helped you be able to get over having that? Because I think a lot of people watching probably have that same feeling
Yeah.
of like, like we all heard the same things growing up, right? Like, why do we all know the
Mm.
saying money doesn't grow on trees?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, exactly.
Like and psychologically, like when
Mhm.
we hear something like that, it's what's the meaning that you get from that?
As now that I'm an adult, I get the meaning of, hey, like, we only have so much of this.
Like,
There's a finite,
right. Like it's hard to
number.
come by.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I mean, now that you're, like, opening your head, it's like, it's not
It's
necessarily.
not,
It can't
right.
grow on trees.
I mean, not maybe not physically,
Yeah,
but figuratively,
it does.
yeah, like, it's not as hard as we were brought up to believe, and so there's a lot of those things that are implanted in our
Mhm.
minds subconsciously, and especially, I think, I'll be very careful with the way that I say this, but especially, a lot of people of color, like, we haven't had the privilege and the opportunities to be able to have as good of education for a
Mm.
long period of time
Mhm. Mhm.
as and not this is that's not, no, I don't, please don't take that controversial in any kind of way. It's just
It's
stating,
speaking within the truth, absolutely.
speaking the truth, the
Yeah.
same way that people in third world countries don't get the same education that
Mhm.
we got here in a first world
Yeah.
country. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
looking at it from that perspective, we do have a lot of stigmas and things like that that are embedded into our beings that
Absolutely.
prevent us from being able to look at a variation of our future that involves having things that we deserve, to having great things, being able to be in control of
Mhm.
how we manifest and shape the future. So, but yeah, I mean, but what else do you think helped you? Because I really think that that'll help the viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. So in that, I think is exactly what you said, journaling. It has to you can't just leave these feelings internalized.
Hmm.
You have to get them out. You're going to have to say out loud, write it down, go into an anonymous group and just post it out there somewhere where you can get this out because once that energy is put out into the world, that is the energy you're going to receive back. So that was one of the things where I'm like, I got to start saying this. I got to start being open. And the one thing that I learned also was when I really started progressing was when I stopped living to people's standards of what they felt that I should be.
Mm,
And again, everyone felt, everyone had good intentions on when they were telling me these things, but, telling me to just, hey, just get a good job and stay there. Or maybe you need to do this, or hey, this is what you should be doing. When I was living for other people, I was successful. Every year I scaled up. Every year there was promotion, there was a new opportunity, but I didn't feel complete. And when I started walking within myself, and this is just, for everyone at home, the money, increased greatly.
yep.
The relationships got stronger. The personal development became greater. And to the sense now where I'm able to speak that truth into my family,
Hmm.
my kids. I had a moment where as we were moving down here, we were just kind of getting some boxes out of the way, and my sons do their affirmations every morning. And it's I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm funny, I'm handsome, I'm a big boy, I can do it.
Big
Right.
dog. Woo woo.
Well, exactly. I'm a big dog. And my
One of
oldest,
his sons does
he
that.
does it all the time.
It'll be like big dog.
Woo woo. But it's one of those things where, like I every morning we have to do it.
Yep.
There's no getting out of the car. It doesn't matter how late I was running to work. It doesn't matter what's going on. We're gonna do this. So I'm moving some boxes, just heavy stuff, just trying to get it together so we can, get it shipped down here. And my oldest was just trying to move this box. He's like,
Oh
Dad, I got it.
yeah.
I got it, Dad. I'm like, hey, Mike, I don't think you should do that, buddy. It's a little heavy. I don't want you to hurt yourself. Stop. And he goes, no, Dad, I'm strong. And I'm like, I get that you're strong, buddy, but you need to stop. He's like, no, I'm strong. I can do it. And I caught myself immediately. You know what I mean? And like, as you become a father and you just get older, you just get your emotions start to get the best of you. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like again, going back to the pursuit of happiness is that I try to limit somebody that I told that they can do whatever it is they want. Because in that moment I was more concerned about the potential failures. He got it another 3 feet across the floor to where it needed to be. And he's just, I'm strong, Dad, I'm strong. And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that now I have to be aware of, because once I was able to break that from everyone telling me what to do, and then I broke that matrix and I started doing what I needed to do, I hit that new level, same way he did in that moment. And since then, I can't tell him anything that he can't do something, in the sense of like, hey, you're gonna be great.
Yeah.
You're gonna do great things. And I mean, both of my kids are the same way. So when you big dog woo woo, he knows that he's the toughest thing walking around, and he's a little guy. You know what I mean?
He's a tiny guy.
He's a tiny guy, but has a lot of
Yeah.
personality. So that was one of the things that I personally saw, was that once I got out of that, I got those words out,
Hmm.
to push it out into the universe so the universe can push it back to me. And I stopped living under what I felt everybody else wanted me to be and live in my truth, is when I leveled up, and it's amazing.
And let me ask you, how how much do you think how much doubt do you think was in your son's mind when he said to you that, "No, I'm strong"? Do you think there was any doubt in his mind that he could do what he
I
was
don't
about to
think he
do?
even rationalized the idea of failure.
And that's like the wonder that there's no box yet.
Mm.
He doesn't he
Yeah.
doesn't see those
Mhm.
limitations that we see.
Yeah.
And that's our brain. Our brain is our logical mind, and our brain is always trying to find the best ways to help us
Mm.
survive. Our brain is trying to create predictable
Mhm.
environments. Our
Mhm.
brain loves predictable
Yeah.
environments, right? If it knows where things is, then it has to expend less energy on figuring them out. So our brain loves to create all sorts of boundaries for
Mhm.
us, things that may have happened in the past. Right now, of course, it fails children, right?
Mhm.
My son not only burnt his house or his hand on the stove top,
Mhm.
but he also burnt his hand on the iron.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And those are good boxes,
Yeah.
like now he knows not to
Oh,
touch
yeah,
the
absolutely,
iron.
because he's gained a lot
He-
of knowledge in that. You can see it.
100%. But a lot of times as parents, we do this. You know what we often do as parents to
What's
our
that?
children? We don't want to inconvenience ourselves, so we limit them from being able to express themselves fully in any given moment. We limit our children so much because we don't feel like going and doing this.
Mhm.
We hand them this or we hand them that to go entertain themselves.
Mhm.
We tell them, hey, go to your room and play the game, or hey, put on the tablet or whatever it may be. So or we limit them from having fun. Like sometimes,
Mm.
maybe your son, like my kid loves to jump on the couch.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't like that he does it for safety reasons.
Mhm.
So we just go and stand by him,
Yeah.
let him wear himself out and jump on the couch,
Yeah.
right? Like it doesn't hurt. It's not hurting me. It's not hurting. I used to be like, no, no, we don't jump on the couch in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm just limiting him from being able to have a great experience. And that's how we create those boxes.
Mm.
Hey, dad, can I have this? If he can't have it because of money,
Mhm.
I can't even s- and not that that's the case, but I can't even tell him that that's the case because if I do, then he's gonna live my box.
Yeah.
If I'm broke, which
Mm.
I've been there, and I
Yeah.
can't serve my children,
Mhm.
and if I show them that, hey, dad is broke and
Mhm.
dad can't, and dad is, and you can't have that because this is how life is. The moment we start telling them that that's just how life is, this is how life is,
Then I
they live within our confines then.
yeah.
They don't see themselves being able, our children idolize us. We idolize our parents. It's what we do. And that becomes kind of the pinnacle of what life is like for a lot of children. And if we're limited,
Mhm.
then we will help them think
Absolutely.
that they're limited as well.
Absolutely. And one of the things where, again, it's one of those like when I become close with people, especially like with males, is that there's certain things that I just do not, if you don't fit these boxes, we just can't really gel. The main thing is, father. If you're a father, how are you with your children? And when I see you interact with, your children, it's always under a sense of one, logic of saying, hey, like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So it teaches them discipline. And also the sense of the area of possibilities to where it's like, hey, yes, these are certain norms, but don't ever tell yourself that you can't do these things. When you talk to, your youngest, is that you're talking in words of affirmation. Hey, handsome, how you doing?
Always.
Because he's not going to be able to no one's going to be able to tell him anything. He's the most adorable little kid too. But, he's not going to need someone to validate that.
And there's actually, and I think about that very often, bro. Sorry to cut you
No,
off
you're
there, and
fine. You're fine.
I'll keep it super quick. But there's a very particular reason
Mhm.
why I say to him, "Hey, handsome, hey,
Mhm.
handsome, hey,
Yeah.
handsome." There's a very
Mhm.
particular reason. There's a very particular reason why his first like coherent sentence was
Mhm.
saying, "I am grateful."
Mhm.
There are very particular reasons why, because I want him to hear words that are inspiring to him, and he learned how to use those words in a sense where it's in the first person. I am
Mhm.
are two take those two words there. I am, and apply them to anything in your life
Mhm.
and watch it manifest itself. But
Yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine, but that's the whole gist of it. Is you being a father would never the way you are as a father would never, supersede anything else. I admire your business tactics. I admire your personal development. I admire how you are with your significant other. But you as a father shows how you are internally. And the fact that when I see your kids, they're the happiest kids ever. They're very they're very secure with themselves. They're very optimistic, they're very loving, and they bring that energy back out. That pushes back out. So that manifestation of what you want yourself to be and what you want your legacy to leave at has pushed out to where it is a great impact. Now, every time my kids see your kids, they're happy to see them. When they see your family, they're happy to see them. And that's something that you've had to work at. Oh,
100%.
and it's not necessarily always sunshine and rainbows. A lot of these conversations and these proclamations that we put within ourselves and in our relationships and with our kids are very hard conversations
Yeah.
to have. A lot of the reasons why, I have my kids saying like yes ma'am and no ma'am and yes sir and no sir is because I want you to have it right before you get out there.
Hmm.
And it's going to be difficult. Same way it's difficult internally. I have to be able to show you without a shadow of a doubt that you can do whatever because you've done the hard things early to where they're now just second nature.
Yep.
When we see our kids, they understand it. There can be a million kids running around, but if they hear your voice or their mom's voice, they stop. And that is manifestation of discipline and possibilities. They know they love themselves, they know they're loved, and they know they can do anything in this world.
Absolutely.
So that's what we have to then start being able to teach ourselves if we don't have children yet. If we do have children, we're just not sure how this works. It's never too late to start these processes.
Oh man. I feel like that would be such a great episode to talk about. Through a couple of personal experiences, I've gotten to see in the last few years
Mhm,
how as we go through this process where someone's children, if they do get the opportunity to raise us, or seize the
mhm,
opportunity or are blessed with the opportunity,
mhm,
barring, passing away or putting up for adoption or
yeah,
whatever it may be, our parents raise us and then eventually we become parents. And I've gotten to see firsthand how we we create a variation of our own childhood through our parenting.
mhm,
And that variation may be uh like a negative film variation where it's like inverted,
mhm,
or it might just be the same,
mhm,
right? What do I mean by that? At least for me personally, growing up, my dad was tough,
mhm,
tough, tough, tough. And it was like work hard, and everything else was just kind of second, but it was
mhm.
like work hard and discipline,
Yeah,
you know? And growing up, like, don't get me wrong, I had a wonderful
yeah, yeah,
childhood,
yeah.
da da da. Like, I have no sob story or
Mhm,
nothing like that. I'm about my childhood, but I freaking hate it.
yeah.
I hate
Like,
it.
man, it'd be nice just to be that kid that parents just didn't care.
It would be nice for like, yeah, for like, if I got in trouble, like it was just like a warning. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like I didn't go straight to like,
Yeah,
like
corrective
category
action
5.
immediately.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it would have been nice to have like those steps
yeah,
beforehand. And also, it would have been nice to I feel like to not work as much. Like I had to
mhm,
work a lot growing up,
mhm,
like a lot.
mhm.
Um, you know, and so what did I do when I first became a dad?
Just worked.
Just worked and disciplined
Yeah.
my children.
Mhm,
And man, like even thinking 10 years back to when my kids were younger, like how I used to be with them, how I was when they went to bed, how I was at the dinner table,
mhm.
how I was when they messed up. Like they're children, they're gonna mess up, they're gonna do it all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Why am
yeah,
I getting so worried? And eventually I realized that I am literally repeating the same exact cycle and doing the things to them that I think I'm doing in the name of disciplining because I turned out all right.
yeah.
I'm doing it to them.
Mhm.
And I'm doing it to them and I'm like, "Wait a minute. I hated this. Why am I doing this
Yeah,
to them?
yeah,
If I hated it, I know that they hate it.
yeah. They're
So
you. They're literally you.
right.
Yeah.
So why don't I find alternative
Mhm.
ways?" And it's so funny because now my daughter, she's like, "Dad, you're soft. You're
Yeah.
soft. Jace doesn't
Yeah,
see what we
yeah.
saw."
He doesn't know about the old days. Yeah.
Right, right. Exactly, exactly. It's funny, but now I'm very intentional. Like with Jace, it doesn't matter what he does, he's not going to bed upset.
Mhm,
He's not going to bed sad, mad, angry. It has to be a good way for him to go to sleep, right? That's an important time.
mhm.
Very important time. Who knows what happens during those 8 hours while we're
Yeah,
asleep?
absolutely.
So incredibly important. If he messes up, like he's got to mess up pretty seriously for
Mhm.
him to like even get like like
Yeah, yeah.
he got a little
Yeah, a little
for
corrective
school
action, a little
for
corrective.
school,
Yeah,
for he
yeah.
started school, blah blah blah. But for the
Yes,
most
yeah,
part, it's love.
it is.
I didn't grow up. We didn't grow up in our family saying I love you.
Mhm.
I could never question my parents' love.
No,
They love
yeah,
me,
absolutely. But
but
it's
then
nice to hear it.
it's like I had to always assume it
Mhm,
through their actions
mhm,
and not ever hear it.
mhm,
Now with my children, I love you is an integral part of our
mhm.
conversations.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So and then the other way that parents make the mistake is that um, maybe they don't repeat the same exact things, but they do things that they think will prevent
yeah,
the things that happen in their childhood from happening to their child,
yeah,
but they end up creating a variation of it. For example, mom and dad, whenever I was young, they were strict. The alternate route that I could take is I'm not going to be strict with my children,
yes.
but then that is their only normal. When you tell them I'm strict with you because my parents weren't or vice versa,
Mhm.
they didn't experience
Yeah,
that.
they don't know what to compare that to.
They have no correlation to even tie those two in. All they know is their own personal
Yeah.
experience. So you're raising them within this box now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And these are the things it sucks to admit. It really does because you got to look at your own parents, you got to look at the society around you. But most of us especially in our 20s and in our 30s, if we don't break out of it, we are living in the box that our mom and dad created for us.
Yes.
If our mom and dad tell us that we're smart or we're not smart, we're living within that box.
Mhm.
If they say you're capable or you're not capable, you're living within that box. If they discipline or don't discipline, we live within that box. We are, and if we didn't like it,
Mhm.
then we go and either revolt against it or we repeat it.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
It's dangerous, but in the sense of like, doing too much of each. But I feel like with your balance of how you want to raise and how you want to, affect the world, you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it, and I'm just trying my best, and it's gonna be up to him. It's
It's
gonna be up
great.
to my children
Yeah,
anyway. Like,
yeah.
it's up to y'all.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're learning this process as we go. But you're never wrong with pushing out love,
No.
pushing out great things. Because again, it's just one of those things that they're just like innate reflections of what you do as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see children happy, man, like that's not a front.
No.
They don't
They mean it.
they mean it. So they're always in a good mood. They're always great. Those are great things that you're able to do. And again, from you learning from the early parts of, your children's early childhood to now your newest child is showing the growth and that it's never too late to make those changes of like, well, I raised these kids this way, so I'm going to raise them that way, even though I know it's not right now. I'm just going to keep that same cycle. There is nothing wrong with going back and fixing something that you feel like, hey, I could have improved on. And it makes you better in the long run. And at the same time, your kids realize it. They're going to say, hey, I see the growth. So there's never a reason where they can say, hey, well, dad, I'm going to stay the same way because you've been the same way my whole life. No, there's there's no excuse. And even with this process here, I want us to do this so then that way we can look at our kids when they get old enough, say, hey, it's time for college, it's time for all these things, marriage, whatever, that we tell them they can do whatever, they can't question
They
us.
can't.
Because they can't say, but dad, Uncle Jomar didn't, or you didn't. Like, nope, we both did
We
everything.
did it.
We did everything.
We did,
We did everything that we would like to do.
it's a beautiful thing, and we get to bless our, like, you find other people other than yourself to do things for, right? Like, when people talk about generational wealth, that is like,
Yes.
that is the promise. Not saying that that's everybody's goal is to create that, but if you put your goals not only for yourself but also for the people that you love, and you look at the long-term effects that it could have on them, your children, your future grandchildren, whatever it may be, one small action from you per day can change the lives of so many people. If you just own it. It's hard. It's hard to manifest. It's hard to think about life being different than what it is now if you don't do it.
Absolutely.
But if you do it, it's not hard.
It's amazing.
If you practice it, if you work hard at it, it becomes very easy. No, let me take that back. If I could go back and tell myself some of these things 7 years ago, 10 years ago, I'd be like, who is this crazy idiot talking to me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed myself. I'd have been like, no, you're a clone.
Yeah, it's somebody else, man. I don't know. He looks like me, but he's not me. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So in regards to, like, all right, someone's watching right now. What could they do right now? And let's assume that they're not like Jomar and they can fully visualize and things like that. You know what I mean? They can end this podcast and do one thing. What would you say that is?
I want to say the probably the best thing you can do for yourself is to, and we say this all the time, reflect. I want you to sit back and take in a deep, solid moment, whether that's, a couple breathing exercises, but I want you to say that you love yourself and that you deserve to get everything that you want out of life. And I want you just to keep that in the back of your head. Just tell yourself you love yourself and that you're going to do better. And then from that, we start building the performance plan. We start implementing these things as the days goes on. But sometimes we just have to start by just saying, "Hey, I love myself." And it's simple from there in my perspective. What would you say?
I agree. I say finish this podcast and allow yourself the opportunity to imagine what this life can look like for yourself. Open that door for yourself and just say, I am giving myself permission to be able to imagine life at its fullest. and go off on a journey of visualizing what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because until you have a clear-cut image in your head of what the best version of yourself looks like,
Mm-hmm.
then you will, if you don't have that, then your actions and behaviors
Mm-hmm.
will be erratic.
Mm-hmm.
They will not line up fully with that.
Absolutely.
So give yourself that opportunity. Go on those journeys before you go to bed, guys, every single night. Every single night before you go to bed. Like once you're laying down, nice and cozy, you're right
Feet
here.
rubbing together, all that
You
good
know what I
stuff.
mean? Like the fans blowing just on your face.
Yes.
Everything else is like,
Yes.
you know what I mean, guys. You know, like tonight's not a night I'm gonna have to wake up in the middle of the night and repeat.
Absolutely. Those are the
Like
best nights.
this is a good night.
Best nights.
While you're there, think about things that you're grateful for. Think about what that future version of yourself looks like. Actually spend time there now, because what you'll see is you'll get some of the gratification. You'll get it then. Like if you want to go, let's say to, I don't know, name a cool place, Switzerland.
Let's go with Switzerland.
we're
Let's stay with
we're
Switzerland.
just
Stay
always
on
gonna go with
Switzerland. Yeah.
Switzerland, guys.
Yeah. Until we get there. Until we get there.
Until we get there, we're manifesting
We're
Switzerland.
going to Switzerland.
First thing that you order at a, let's say at a little chocolate coffee ice cream place, do you order hot tea? Do you order chocolate? Do you order coffee? What's the first thing? I'm gonna get back to the point, guys.
I'm gonna get what the locals get. I'm gonna say what is the most popular.
What if they get like a flufferschlubler?
I don't know what that. Let's do it. I can't say no.
Can I get
say no.
2 flufferschlublers,
Yeah,
please?
yeah. Extra fluffish on one of them. Yeah.
But when you're late to see that is such a good example.
Yeah.
Like see that experience that we were just able to kind of just
bring
share
ourselves there. Yeah.
We're not in Switzerland, but we're gonna order, and we're gonna go back and watch this episode on our way to Switzerland.
Yes.
We're gonna order a flufferschluver
Oh yeah.
while we're there. But in creating that experience right now, we're able to get some of the gratification, because now we feel like, okay, man, like we keep talking about Switzerland. It's gonna happen.
We're going.
It's happening.
We're going.
You know what I mean? And when we're there, man, these things that we talk about, we're gonna be like, oh my God, like, is this even real? But between now and then, it's not a distant place. It's just a matter of when, but we already know
we're going.
We're going there.
We're going.
You know what I mean? So awesome. Well, man.
I think before we finish off, I want to do this. So
stop. What are we gonna do, man?
So I want us to work with the first time manifester, right?
Okay.
So I want to put out one thing that I want to do with this podcast, that we're going to do with this podcast,
that we're doing
with this podcast, is we are going to travel the world with this podcast. And I'm going to put that out there now, because one, it is going to happen, and two, you're going to come with us and we're going to have a great time. I want to put that manifestation out, because now I want you guys to see what the power of words is going to do when these actually happen. So if we all start this tonight, and I want you to give us one as well, and once we all accomplish those goals, we're going to keep pushing from there. So that is my manifestation, that we're going to travel the world with this podcast.
Man, we are going to clip this.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back to it.
We're going to come
back. We're going
to
to show the world that it's not just like, it's what we're saying is real, and it's not because of who we are. It's just because we believe it.
Absolutely. I'm going to hit the meanest Dougie in the middle of South Korea when we get there too.
Dougie in South Korea are words I were not expecting in the same sentence.
Mean Dougie in South Korea. Man, I promise.
Man, that might bring peace to North and South Korea.
That's what I'm telling you, man. Hey, that's good. Hey, man, we might shut down 18 wars just traveling. Like,
King John finna be like, D, can you teach me how to do?
I'm not going to show you everything now. I can't show it all now. But when we get there, you will see the meanest Dougie. I don't know what I'm going to do in Switzerland. I might just like have one of the, do a little dance out there.
Like the hokey pokey.
Yeah, like something simple. But when we get to South Korea, man, we're going to turn up.
That's funny. We're going to help so many people with this podcast. We're going to help so many people. How many people? It doesn't matter. It could be 1, or it could be 100. It could be 1,000. We're going to help so many people. We are going to elevate. We're going to help elevate people to a place that they never thought that it would be possible. And that's really what I'm with you, man. And I won't repeat it because you already said it. I want to travel the world and go out there and see different people, show you different people, different things like that. But I really want to help other people because the power that I feel like has come into my life after realizing that I am a very powerful human being. All of you, everyone deserves to feel that. And man, I can't even
That's a word.
imagine. I can't
That's a
even
word, man.
imagine like what, other people feel like I can't even imagine like, man, Tony Robbins. I love Tony Robbins.
I
I
love
can't
him
even
too. He's
imagine like,
awesome, man.
man, can you imagine like just like
Yeah.
how amped up this guy
You
is
walk out
all the
there.
time?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Man.
high on life, and
Yes.
every day is more and more and more of that. And man, life is good. Today's a great day.
Today's a great day.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't wait to go.
Yeah, it's good.
Just
Hey, we're going probably sooner than you think, man.
I agree, man. I agree. Switzerland 2027. By the way, that's what 2027 is that what we put on? But listen, if 2026 happens and
I'm
2026
just saying.
happens,
I'm just saying. Switzerland's a lot sooner than you think.
what should we talk about in our episode? Or like if we go to Switzerland and we
Yeah.
film a couple episodes,
Yeah.
let us know in the comments.
Yes.
What
Yes.
would be like the thing to talk about?
Yeah, because I mean, hey, it's coming.
Yeah,
It's coming,
Swiss
man.
Alps.
Swiss Alps, man.
Swiss Alps behind us. But we gotta be careful with the lighting because the light can't be behind us. So, but
You
either
know
way,
those
we're gonna.
trolleys that go down the mountains? You seen those?
Yeah,
I'll send you the video of it. But there's like trolleys that go down. It's a long drive. Easily get like a 10-20 minute episode out of
yeah,
it.
we'll get like a little short clip in there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But we're definitely gonna flex the
yeah,
Alps behind us.
yeah. Let's just put it here. International 2026. International.
International 2026.
Yeah. Yeah. So if it's not Switzerland, we're international.
Okay.
It's gotta happen.
It's inevitable.
Yes.
It's inevitable.
Yes.
Well, guys, my name is Jomar.
My name's Diers.
We didn't plan that.
Uh,
Today's a great day. Today's a great day. Today's a great day. Remind yourself every single day that today is a great day. And if it doesn't feel like it, work on making it a great day. And the more of those that you have, the more of those that you build up, the more that you'll have a great week, a great month, a great life. We can't thank you guys enough for sitting here and listening to us for almost an hour and a half. You're amazing.
yeah.
You're loved. This world is a good world. There's a lot of bad in this world, but there's also a lot of good in this world. And if you want to find yourself in a place where you're living a life that you truly, truly desire, then start today by manifesting and thinking about what that life looks like and start taking actions that align with that future version of yourself right now.
You deserve it all. We love you. We'll see you episode 4.
Bro, I tell you, we about to
Woo!
we about to take